The Lynette Brown Show. This be the Lynette Brown Show.
She's always ready and on time.
The Lynette Brown Show.
When you got something that's on your mind.
The Lynette Brown Show.
Whatever you got going on, she knows the deal.
The Lynette Brown Show.
Where we always keep it real.
Welcome to the LBS, the hottest, the biggest, the baddest talk show of the South. I am the Fiery Diva, keeping the airwaves hot on your favorite station. Thank you guys for tuning in with me. Once again, we've got a nice show lined up for you, ladies and gentlemen. We have Miss D, and Miss D is the president of the Northwoods Community Council. Okay, and we're so happy to have her here with us today, but we're not going to be able to go into our subject right now. We've got to take a quick commercial break, but we'll be back right after this.
Hey, I'm Granville. We smoke all our meat with hickory and red oak, season all our meat with a dry rub, and our customers will tell you that we have the best ribs and the best barbecue in North Alabama.
I come to Granville's for the great barbecue. They have great lunch specials.
Well, I like the barbecued chicken. It's the best chicken I think I've had barbecued.
Barbecue sandwich, probably the best in town. The ribs, first time I came, the ribs were to die for.
Granville's Gourmet Ribs and Barbecue on the corner of Meridian Street and Oakwood.
Welcome to Eddie Pruitt Ford right here at Hartselle, Alabama, where everybody in the Tennessee Valley knows that we're your low price leader with great service. But don't you worry a little bit when that warranty runs out and those high repair bills start to roll in, how much that's going to cost you. Well, at Eddie Pruitt Ford, we've got that covered. You're going to have the peace of mind of knowing that every vehicle on the lot, new or used, is going to come with a free lifetime powertrain warranty. That's engine, transmission, drive axle, free and exclusive only at Eddie Pruitt Ford right here in
Welcome back to the LBS, the hottest, the biggest, the baddest talk show of the South. I am the Fiery Diva, keeping their waves hot on your favorite station. We have Miss D here with us today, and we're going to be talking about some of the things that they have going on with the Northwoods Community Housing Development, okay? And before we do all that, this portion of the show is brought to you in part by Health Alternatives. We've got Miss Amelia. You remember we talked about those colonics? She's still doing those colonics on Highway 72 in Huntsville, Alabama. And you can reach her at 256-513-2274. Again, that number is 256-513-2274. Miss D, welcome to the LBS.
Oh, thank you.
We have had a wonderful time before the show.
Yes, we have.
Well, Miss D, I mean, you're the president for Northwoods Community Council.
Yes.
And I mean, you take your job so seriously. You
I
really
do.
do.
I
And I
really
mean,
do.
you really have the passion to help people, and that is fantastic. I want to talk to you a little bit about your history, and you've worked with children in the past.
Yes.
And this is your passion. So
Yes.
let's talk a little bit about the children and why you decided to go to Northwoods. That's all I want to say.
Okay. I would like to, still work with the kids, and I do from time to time. I did do a art program over there to the Calvary Hill Center, which is in the Northwoods community as well. And but once I moved out there into development, I just seen the need that the people just needed additional commitment and information concerning, what they could do, what they could attend, and to better, themselves and to just help one another. I just believe in trying to reach out and help those that are in need.
Well, Miss D, now, of course, there are a lot of children. I found that out.
Yes, there are a lot of children
When
in
I
Northwoods.
was out there. In fact, I'm working on some things now to try to reach out to you guys, with my food ministry. In fact, I did that day.
Yes,
That
you sure did.
the first day I was
Yeah.
out there. I mean, they just swarmed around.
Children were running everywhere, and I was
Yes.
saying, stop, yeah, go there and get these things. And
Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
that was wonderful.
Well, talk to us a little bit. What do you need from the community? How can we help?
Well, our community needs could be anything, that I guess you might say that our needs could be for someone to come in and help the residents with, talking about being homemakers and housekeeping, health issues. We all have so many, different health issues now,
Yes.
and there's so many kind of diseases out there that are taking over our bodies. That some things that you go to the doctor and the doctor tells you, well, you have this going on. Well, okay, now you need to know what you need to do to try to help yourself, not have, these kind of problems anymore. So there's all kind of aspects of, as far as the community can come in and help and assist. We go out and we send out letters whenever we're having events, for donations.
Yes.
Donations could be monetary, donations could be supplies, donations could be basically anything that's available that a person could, help us out with. So,
right.
You just can't just limit it to, just a few things, because it could be, basically anything.
Right, whether it's helping a child with homework, with
Right.
school about to go
Right.
back into session now.
Yeah, that's
A
right.
lot of children probably need some kind of tutoring or something like that.
Right,
also.
tutoring, and there's a lot of children in our community are going to need, which they're going to be having different avenues of backpacks and books, and helping the kids out with starting school and giving them haircuts. And I think that's going to take place sometime this month in our community. They're going to have a
Would
backpack.
you guys let me know? Let me know so I can announce it.
Yes, I've been told that it's supposed to be on the 18th of which is Sunday. I think this Sunday is the 18th of this month.
Okay.
And it's always held at that school, which is next to the Publc Academy there in the Northwoods community.
Oh, well, Ms. D, I want to talk to you a little bit about a field trip, a trip that you guys are trying to orchestrate. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
Now, of course, you guys are trying to go to a theme park.
Yes,
in
we're trying to
Tennessee.
go to Chattanooga, Tennessee, to the old theme park. It's really old. It's older than I am. It's called Lake Winnebagoga, and it's in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And this will be our 4th year attempting to have a community fun trip for the parents, possibly to go with their children, or any adults are welcome to go. It's just a fun trip.
Okay.
And what we're trying to do, we got a bus already chartered, but we need to fill the bus and pay for the bus.
Okay.
So that's one of the things that we're trying to do now is fill the bus. We have maybe 13 people that have signed up, and
Okay.
hopefully we can get, the bus will hold 55. That
Okay.
is the bus that we have scheduled for charter bus.
Okay. For those who have just tuned in, you're tuning into the LBS, the hottest, the biggest, the baddest talk show of the South. I am the fiery diva, keeping their waves hot. We're talking with Miss D, and Miss D, she is the president for the Northwoods Community Council, and we are talking about a field trip that they are trying to put on. Now, this is $20 per person. Right?
Yes, $20 per person to ride the bus. Once we get to the park there in Chattanooga, there is a cost, of course, to get in admission. And if we can get 25 or more riders, we as a group, we can go in at $21 per person.
Okay.
Okay, but if we don't get those 25 riders, we have to pay the $26 to enter the park.
So there are going to be so many children that need to be a part of this, because there are so many children out here that has not even left the state of Alabama.
Right.
They've never even been out of the state of Alabama.
Right.
This would be awesome. So what we need the community to do, if you don't go,
Sponsor.
bring $20.
Yeah, and sponsor
Bring $20,
someone.
yes. So another child will be able to come, because
Yes.
a lot of kids are not as fortunate as
That's
other
right,
children.
that's right.
And so give them an opportunity to take pictures and be a part of something outside of Alabama.
Right.
And that's what we want, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys can contact Miss D, her number is on the screen, and sponsor a child, sponsor this trip. This trip is September the 14th. Right?
Yeah, second Saturday in September, which is
Okay.
September 14th.
Okay.
And we will leave the Calvary Hill Center, which is located right there in the Northwoods community as well.
Okay.
It's a recreation center. The bus always pulls up in that parking lot. And we'll leave at 7 a.m. that morning, and we'll return by 6 p.m. that evening.
Okay. And sack lunches, right?
Yes, everybody is asked to bring a picnic lunch. We will have a pavilion, a reserved pavilion, in the name of the Northwoods Resident Council, and we will be able to just set up at a certain time and just call everybody. We always just tell them to go out and have fun, and then we'll have lunch at a certain time. And because Chattanooga will be an hour ahead.
Okay.
They're an hour ahead of us, so we always let everyone know what time to be back for us to have the lunch in the pavilion.
Okay. And that's another thing. I mean, if you don't have the money, you could sponsor a lunch. Sponsor a sandwich.
Right.
You know, provide, a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
Some lunch and meat.
Yes, that will work.
Some lunch and
Some
meat.
chips.
Yes, some chips.
We always have, usually we just try to have something that's not, because it's going to be so hot. We usually just have little Debbie cakes,
right.
and we provide a sandwich, usually ham or turkey, and drinks,
okay.
and chips.
Right. So if you can't do the $20, then just sponsor the picnic lunch, because it's not just for children, it's for elderly.
It's for the adults as well. And we have a lot of elderly people that just enjoy going. They may not can ride any of the rides or partake of the amusement itself, but they just enjoy getting away, taking that ride, because this park is around a lake, and that's why it's called Lake Winnepesaukah.
That is wonderful. Now, Miss D, this is not just for the residents of Norwood.
Right. It is for, we open it there for Northwoods. We hope they will be the first to come on board, but actually we want to open it to anyone that would like to go.
And for those who've tuned in, we're talking with Miss D. We're trying to get this bus field for these children to go to this theme park. And I think this is a wonderful thing. Her number is on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. If you can't go, sponsor a child. $20, right?
Yes, $20 to ride, and at least 21 to get in. They might be a little cheaper for a certain age group, but they are going to send me that information. I had received that in the mail for our group rate.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go into a quick commercial break. We'll be back right after this time.
Welcome to Eddie Pruitt Ford right here at Hartselle, Alabama, where everybody in the Tennessee Valley knows that we're your low price leader with great service. But don't you worry a little bit when that warranty runs out and those high repair bills start to roll in. How much that's going to cost you? Well, at Eddie Pruitt Ford, we've got that covered. You're going to have the peace of mind of knowing that every vehicle on the lot, new or used, is going to come with a free lifetime powertrain warranty. That's engine, transmission, drive axle, free and exclusive only at Eddie Pruitt Ford right here in Hartselle.
Lynette Brown Show. This be the Lynette Brown Show.
She's always ready and on time.
The Lynette Brown Show.
When you got something that's on your mind.
The Lynette Brown Show.
Whatever you got going on, she knows the deal.
The Lynette Brown Show.
Where we always keep it real.
Welcome to the LBS, the hottest, the biggest, the baddest talk show of the South. I am the fiery diva, keeping their waves hot on your favorite station. Thank you guys for tuning in with me once again. This portion of the show is brought to you in part by Health Alternatives with Miss Amelia Self, and she is located on Highway 72 right here in Huntsville, Alabama. You can reach Miss Amelia at 256-513-2274. Again, that number is 256-513-2274. You know, she specializes in colonics, the good cleansing. I know you got about 15 pounds you need to lose, and a lot of it is not all fat. Sometimes it's just bile, that's in there, that's trapped, that's been there for like 50 years. Let's just keep it real. So anyway, call Miss Amelia, 2274. All right, Miss D.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming back with me.
Thank you
Now,
for
Miss
having
D.
me.
Yes, ma'am. You're more than welcome. Now, I wanted to talk with you a little bit. We talked a little bit about the fact that you are a resident.
Yes, I am a
Northwood?
resident of Northwoods.
Yes. And many would say, "Oh, she lives there." Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I think that's where we have a lot of problems with the community. We forget where we come from.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, you're right there where you need it. You needed to be there because that's where the children. I mean, I was just flabbergasted when I saw all those kids. I
Right.
mean, oh, I would have a field day out there, just catering to them.
Right.
So, I mean, God puts us where He wants us to be. But now, Miss D, I mean, you've been a homeowner.
Yes.
I mean, you've been there.
Yes,
But
I
you're
have.
here at Northwoods
That's
Housing
right.
Community. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, I did own my home, and I was married at one time, and I owned my own business, which was a daycare center in Tullahoma, Tennessee.
Okay.
And so after circumstances happened to me when I injured myself, I ended up saying, well, I cannot do this anymore. And so, well, why don't you try to get in the public housing, because you don't have income to afford to pay the big cost in rent for housing. So
Well, Miss D, let me stop you here for
Okay.
just a second. And I don't mean to cut you off, but I've got to ask, when they made that suggestion, what was your initial thought?
Truthfully, when I said public housing, well, the word during that time, everybody still uses it today as projects, but it's no longer. It was a project before they were built, but no, it's no longer a project now. It is a development. They've developed the project, so the project has been developed, so they're public housing development. So I thought about it. And I said, well, I'm not. Too good that I can't, go out there and, at least attempt to try. I said,
Right.
let me put in the paperwork that I need to do and see the people I need to see and see if I can get in. And because I had zero income at the time.
Yes.
I had no income, so therefore, I had to do something. And
For those who have just tuned in, you're tuning into the Lynette Brown Show. And for many people may not know, but people that are in a close circle in my family will see, when I started this show 14 years ago, I lived in government housing. I lived in the projects.
wow.
Yeah, I lived in the projects, and I look back now, and I can laugh about it because I mean, people think that when you live in the project that you're trifling, that oh, she don't want to work, she's lazy, but that's the stereotype
That's right.
that a lot of people have for government housing, and that's just not true. So I mean, it's not what people think it is. In fact, Alabama A&M, they've been my sponsors now for the last 14 years,
Oh,
and I
wonderful.
drove a brown Nissan. Very unattractive.
Well.
Needed a paint job.
Uh-huh.
Actually, my white grandmother gave it to me
Mm-hmm.
for me to have transportation for my children, and it backfired when I cut it off.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I was at Alabama A&M asking for sponsorship, so you can't don't judge the book by the cover.
That's right.
You don't
Right.
know. You don't know people's stories.
Right.
You don't know how they ended up where they are now. And I had people to talk about me bad, and I'm sure you have too.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have.
They talk about you bad, like they laughed. Oh, a talk show. That girl don't know anything about a talk show and
Right.
everything.
Mhm.
I don't think they're laughing now.
Oh.
There are women that are watching this show right now that are inspired by you and I, and God can still use you.
Right.
He can still use you, just like He uses me with the food ministry. Giving an opportunity for people to come on and tell, what you're doing in the community, because that's what this is all about.
Right.
And I was on last week, and I had the show, The Power of Giving. If you guys missed that, please go to YouTube. Please go to Lynette Brown Show YouTube, The Power of Giving. In fact, on the show, I asked for a van, for my ministry.
Okay.
Yes, I did,
Okay.
because, you saw what I do. Everybody
Yes.
sees what I do.
Yes.
And
I
I'm going to try to, reach out to, your area as well, because I do have areas in Madison County that I service. But now, when those kids surrounded my car, and they're trying to get the cereal, and they were trying to get, you know, all the little things that I was offering, I was like, okay. So that made me work even harder. If you have a truck or a van that you have sitting in your yard, I really need it. Okay?
Yes.
I need it. Okay? So I can do what I do, and that is service the community. My number is on the screen. Let me say this to you, and this just happened to me yesterday. I saw this lady, and I know this lady had to have been every bit of about 60, and she was walking in the heat, and it was obvious that she had had a stroke at one time, because you couldn't hardly understand what she was saying.
Yes.
But I mean, she had water pouring all over her. It's hot.
Yes.
And I mean, she's walking from one side, and I asked her, you know, where are you going? She was walking from one side of the town to the next. And I was like, my goodness. I said, you know, do you want to ride? And she asked me, she says, well, how much do I owe you? That's the thing right there.
Right, right.
You know, ma'am, trust me, this is paid for. This is why I hate to take up your time and things like that. And I'm thinking, ma'am, this is obviously what God wanted me to be right now and at this time.
Yeah.
And people were just passing by with their windows rolled up tight. So you know they had air conditioning in there.
That's right.
And they're just passing by this lady. And I mean, I was like, my goodness. Think that, you know, God's got your back anyway.
Yes.
When you're working for Him, He's not going to use this show as a platform, because I know the power of giving. What you're doing is giving. For those who have just tuned in, you're tuning into the LBS, the hottest, the biggest, the baddest talk show of the South. I am talking with Miss D, and she is the president for Northwoods Community Council. And we're just talking about, of course, giving back.
People don't realize how important it is to get involved in community watch and actions and things of that nature, because you know, if you see something suspicious going on, and you may not think, you know, oh, I'm not going to get involved, but it's not the part of you getting involved. It's if you getting on the phone, calling that non-emergency number and reporting what you see, you know, and then let the authorities take it from there, you know, so it won't be that case like when it happened with the young fella, Trayvon, and I know, you know, we all know about that case.
I think people need to be a little more proactive in the community. When I go out and I'm trying to get donations, I said, I am trying to service at-risk children.
Right.
And if they're at risk, guess what? So are you. And I would love for a lot of children to see.
Yes.
A lot of kids hasn't been on an amusement park. Remember, I was at another housing development in Huntsville, and you know, it's a summer day, and kids are they're just sitting around, just hanging out. Not a thing to do.
Right.
And I was like, wow.
I drove up at my apartment on yesterday, and I have some new neighbors, and they have young kids, and the little boy was sitting on the curb with his feet, you know, right where you drive by to park. And it disturbed me, because I'm thinking somebody could pull up, they not see him sitting there, and it'd just be another tragedy, you know, another community tragedy, you know. And so once I got out of the truck and I kept looking at him, he was looking at me, and I waved at him. And because they live next door to me, so I'm pulling in slow, because he is sitting, or he is standing right there on the curb. And, you know, if he'd have jumped out, you know, I couldn't have avoided hitting him without turning over my truck.
Exactly.
So, you know, so I get out and I say, hey, is your mom home? He said, uh-huh. I said, well, okay. I said, but she wasn't out there. I said, well, don't stand. I said, don't sit like that on the curb.
Right.
I said, because that's really dangerous. But he was really sweet. You know,
and he showed it in a loving way.
Right. And about 3 years old, and he got up and he moved back and he stood on the sidewalk.
Aww.
And you know, and I thought, okay, you know, and I didn't have no parent to come running out. So, what do you say?
You don't do it.
Right. So, you know, you have to be careful now with, you know, and used to, you know, back in the day, you could try to tell children, you know, if you've seen something going wrong or them doing something wrong. But nowadays, oh no.
And that's what's wrong now. You know, when I remember when I was putting out flyers for my block party, because I had a block party right off Chase Rose up in Everton Heights, you know, and it was nice. But I saw two young men, you know, they were school age, and one was just sitting there just smoking.
Yeah.
Just smoking. And the mother in me wanted to say, boy, take that cigarette out your mouth. That's the mother.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I knew I couldn't do that. And so I handed him a flyer and told him who I was, and I was having a block party. And he was very respectful, and he said, oh, thank you, yes ma'am. And I said, this is when I said,
Okay.
now you know you are much too handsome for that cigarette in your mouth. You know that. You know you're too handsome for that cigarette in your mouth. And he said, oh, yes, ma'am. And so he put it out.
Right.
You know, I said, well, now, you know, are you going to go to school? He says, yeah, I'm going to go to Alabama A&M. I said, and what are you going to take up? And, you know, he was just telling me everything. He says, yeah, I'm going to play basketball. I said, no. I said, so your lungs are not going to be any good if you keep smoking. Now, you do know that, right? You can't. I don't see too many ball players. He said, yes, ma'am. You know, and everything.
Right.
So you have to do it in love, and that's the way I do. I do it in love. When I do it, you know, with my kids, it's like to fight. Oh, yeah. They're all, yeah. You know, girls today, they fight. They fight more than the boys do.
Yeah, I did see a Lifetime movie about, you know,
Yeah,
and
they
which was a true
fight.
story.
Yeah, they
about
fight.
about the girls that fought that girl and almost killed her.
Yeah, well, I ran into a fighting girl, you know, one day, and she was like, yeah, I'm gonna get her, you know, I'm gonna get her, you don't mess with me, and blah, blah, blah. And you know what I told her? I said, girl, do you know real divas don't fight? We don't fight. I said, girl, look at you. I said, you are beautiful. Why would you want to mess all this up? I said, real divas don't fight. We just call law enforcement.
Right.
We don't fight at all.
Right.
You know, and she kind of got tickled at what I was saying, but I was saying it in a way where, you know, it wouldn't offend her because I was complimenting her all at the same time. You know, I wanted her to know that you're beautiful. You're fighting? Who does that? Unless you're Layla Ali. And she gets paid a lot of money.
Word.
You know, to fight. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is my time. Goodness, and I appreciate yours. Thank you so much for tuning into the LBS Miss D. Give us your contact information.
I can be contacted at my home, which is 256-534-1099, or my cell at 256-651-7667.
Okay, and before I go, I've got a Diva I Wanted. Yes, you know Diva I Wanted. I know you guys are wondering what in the world happened with Diva I Wanted. Has she just stopped? No, I have not. In fact, if you text me right now, somebody is going to, I got Popeyes, let's see, I've got Domino's, and I think that I have, yep, I know I do, I've got Olive Garden. Yes, I've got the Olive Garden. If you text me right now and just say, Diva, I want it. That's all you got to do, and my number is on the screen. I do appreciate your time, and Miss D, I appreciate all you do for the community. Therefore, you're going to Red Lobster, ma'am.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. You're going to Red Lobster. Didn't expect that.
No.
This is not scripted, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we do.
I'm hungry too.
Thank you guys for tuning in to the LBS, the hottest, the biggest, the baddest talk show of the South.